Welcome back into the Rowdy Studio. I'm Stephen Levine. This is Tom Vandervoort. Denny, we hardly knew ye.
Well, you know, Denny is probably done.
Denny's done.
And it's kind of amazing to think about. He comes to Martinsville, actually proves, thanks to 2 speeding penalties,
that he's really good
right,
at Martinsville.
Drive from the back to the front twice at Martinsville. And then mechanical issues. But we talked about this at the beginning of the year. We talked about it last year, and we talked about it at the beginning of the chase.
We talk about it every time it comes up, and it comes up much too frequently.
Joe Gibbs Racing has more of these kinds of issues than any of the other top-tier teams, and it is an Achilles heel, a chink in the armor, if you will, that you just simply cannot afford. I feel bad for the guy. I feel bad for his team, and it's hard to pin any one incident on this pattern, but it is part of a pattern.
Well, of course it's part of a pattern. Joe Gibbs Racing has had quality assurance issues for years now, and you can say, well, a master control switch has nothing to do with this other incident, has nothing to do with this other incident, but a pattern has emerged, as you said, and it's not necessarily a pattern of, well, this one part goes bad. It's a pattern of they're not doing something right in their process, in their quality assurance process to guard against whether it was a mechanical error or an assembly error.
Or even a parts failure.
Or even a parts failure.
I mean, I remember talking to Barry Dodson 5-6 years ago about getting ready for big races and magnafluxing all the different parts that you were going to put in the race car to make sure that there were no internal problems.
Magnafluxing?
I don't even know what that means.
It sounds dirty, I gotta say.
Well, it's clean, actually, because you have to keep everything very, very clean. You've been in those race shops. I mean, you know the attention to detail that goes in there.
It does not look like your neighborhood garage.
No, I'm not saying they don't pay attention to detail, JGR, but I am saying even the switch, remember the switch to TRD, and we thought, well, maybe that'll eliminate some engine issues, and they've had problems. Kyle Busch has had problems. Joey Logano has had problems, and Denny's had problems. So you don't see those same issues at Michael Waltrip Racing.
Not with the same frequency now.
Right. So it's something they need to think about. But while we're sitting here talking about Denny, we should really be talking about Jimmie.
Yeah, Denny's lost.
He did what, you know, Denny would have hoped to have done, which is come out and dominate the weekend.
Well, Jimmie Johnson in his post-race press conference, his Victor's press conference, said, look, a true champion wins at the racetracks they're capable of winning.
Well, then they better watch out because he's going to win again at Phoenix.
Exactly. He's won 4, I think, previously at Phoenix, and Jimmie Johnson.
Won a lot at Phoenix. I think it might be more than 4.
Jimmie Johnson took control of this chase. He's now back atop the point standings.
Well, now let's just hang on just a second.
No, he took control.
But will you stop with the gesticulations? He's put 2 points between himself and Brad Keselowski.
Yes, but if you look,
Brad Keselowski.
No,
wait a second.
No, you wait a second. You wait a second.
3 races to go.
Yes, and let's compare
2 points.
Let's compare stats.
No one's
shall
going
we?
to say. No one's going to say that Jimmie does not have an advantage. However,
he took control.
2 points is not control of the chase. Keselowski's right there. They're going to Texas. He outruns Jimmie at Texas. He could get back in the points.
You want to talk Texas? Let's talk Texas, because I've got some statistics right here.
I don't need your little pieces of paper.
No, I've got pieces of paper.
Jimmie Johnson has a better record at Texas.
Well, wait, it's not just a better record.
Phoenix,
it's not
a better record at. I know all that.
It's not just a better record. It's that Brad Keselowski.
I'm the guy who said Jimmie was going to win this thing.
It's that Brad Keselowski has never scored a top 10 at Homestead or at Texas, and I understand that Brad Keselowski's performance has very little to do with his statistical history. But
what would you have said going into Dover?
Pretty
much the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you got 3 racetracks where Jimmie Johnson has a huge statistical advantage.
My problem is with this idea that he's got control of the chase.
He's got control.
Jimmie and Brad are 1 and 1A. They're right there. It's a 2-man race, and it does feel, I will give you this, Brad Keselowski's position feels a lot like Denny Hamlin a couple years ago, Carl Edwards a few years ago. The runners up to Jimmie Johnson have seasons and chases a lot like Brad Keselowski. They outdo themselves. They perform better than their season average. They show up at racetracks where they normally don't. They're running great. They're hitting on all cylinders. The only thing that prevents them from winning a championship is Jimmie and the 48 team is just plain old better. And not only that, they don't crack under the pressure. So yes, Brad Keselowski's got a major problem. And that problem is the 4 and the 8 next to each other.
Don't get me wrong. I would love to see Brad Keselowski win this championship.
I think he still can.
Not because I have anything against Jimmie Johnson and the 48 team, but just because it was such a cool story, and I really do like Brad Keselowski. I like what he brings to the sport. I think it would be great to see him win a championship. I just think at this point, it seems more and more unlikely. It's just inevitable, isn't it, that the 48 team is going to win the championship again?
The answer to your question is no. It is not inevitable.
Oh, it's inevitable.
It is not inevitable. It strikes me as likely, but not inevitable.
All right.
Here's how Brad Keselowski does it. And I know you want to wrap it up. Here's what you do. You stay close to Jimmie. One of those 3 races, it could be Homestead. One of those 3 races, you're probably going to have to outrun him by 8 to 10 positions.
Oh, that'll happen.
It's not going to be easy to do that, but it can happen.
The hallmark of the 48 team is to take adversity and turn it into advantage. So even if they have a bobble in one of these races, a speeding penalty, a cut tire, who is really going to say that will be their undoing?
I don't know, but it could happen.
It could happen.
Keep hope alive!
That's Tom. I'm Steven. Thank you for watching.